Hi, I'm Joanna, and it's really lovely to have you here. Thank you so much for popping onto my website to have a look about what I do. So, in this video, I wanted to give you my top 5 tips for how to get published. So, I'm a really big fan of building your brand, and as part of that, having a really good and robust strategy for having your brand around in different publications and blogs, so that when people see your name, they can trust you by looking at work that you have done in the past. So, in order to do this, there is a lot of work and there's a lot of things that you need to consider. So these are the things that I think are really, really, really important and have helped me be featured in Tatler, Love My Dress, Rock My Wedding, Rock and Roll Bride, Hello Magazine, and loads of other places. So I know things, this is being recorded during lockdown. So things are a little bit different, and we are going to have to wait and see how things like magazines are going to end up, whether they're all going to go back into offices and things like that. So some things are a little bit uncertain, but some things are most definitely still the same. So let's get going. Step 1, identify your dream titles. So before you even do the shoot or write an article or whatever it is that you're doing, I think you need to identify where you would like it to go, because then you can make sure when you're actually creating your wonderful piece of work, of whatever that is, that actually those two, your piece of work and the title, will sit nicely together. So have a little look at them. Read the publication, whether it's a magazine, whether it's a blog, whatever it is, read it. And look at them on Instagram and on Facebook and all the other social channels. See how many followers they've got and see who within their actual following, are they mainly brides and grooms? Are they mainly wedding suppliers? Are they mainly fashionable fashion people? Who are they? Have a look at it and see if those followers are part of what your ideal client looks like. Because if you're looking for brides who are fashionable and they live in a certain area and they like alternative bridal wear, then the publication that you want your work to go in, obviously it makes sense that they have a similar readership than you have for your brides. And have a look if they have the medium that they have. So are they a magazine, a physical magazine? And if they are, do they have an Instagram account? But also, do they have an online presence as well? Does their website have content on it? And if it does, is it the same or are they different? Because a lot of places now have a slightly different online presence. So you've done all of that. You go into step 2, which is to do your research. Now, this, I think, is probably the most important step, because if you don't do the research, when you try and get your piece or your wonderful shoot, whatever it is, published, it's not going to be able to, you won't be able to, it won't happen. So look at where you want it to go in detail. Buy the magazine, if it's a magazine. Look at the blog again. And often, the majority of magazines and blogs and websites have similar features every single week or month. So, for example, as you know, I have the wedding hood, and my blog has style notes. It has love in the time of Corona. It has conversations. It has love letters, and it has films. So you need to look at those sections, and whether in a magazine, it might have kind of a news section, things that are new. It might have a real wedding section. It might have more of a bridal wear kind of trends element to it. Have a look at all of those sections and see where you would like your piece, your shoot to go in. And that's really, really important, because if what you're doing doesn't fit into any of them, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it will be harder for the person who is in that section, or if or the editor, to sort of think, oh, I'm not really sure where this is going to go. You want to do things that make it easier for the person who, whether it's the editor or the features writer, whoever it is, you want to make their life easier, because they're more likely to put you in there. So once you've done that and you've said, okay, I would like to be in the, let's say the trends report, have a look at what they've put in there recently. Because if they've done a big shoot all about purple, for example, and you're thinking about doing a purple shoot, it's very unlikely that they will feature yours again within several months. But also specifics regarding maybe the bridal, maybe it's the piece, the dress that you're going to put in the shoot, or maybe it's the type of floristry that you're using. If you're going to use a dress that they featured last month or the month before that, they're probably not going to feature it because people have already seen it. So be really, really careful with that. And also, when you know what section you want to be in, have a little research, look in the front of the magazine, or look at the contacts section on a blog or a website, and see who actually looks after it, and see if you can find their email address. Or if there are a blog, read their guidelines, their submission guidelines. What kind of photos do they want? How many do they want? And is there any specifics around lead times? Magazines have generally a much longer lead time. And also you want to think about, if you're doing a shoot and it's a spring and you're doing it in spring, by the time it comes out, it's probably going to be autumn. So think about that. Think about lead times and thinking about seasons and trends and things like that. And as I say, look at your submission details or get email addresses if you can. And the third step, that's 4. Third step is to connect. Now, this is in a really gentle way, not in a salesy way, not in a stalkery kind of way. But if a publication or a blog or a website is checking you out when you have submitted work to them and you don't even follow them on Instagram, they're probably going to think you're not really that engaged with them. So I would follow them. I would put nice comments, and not just like, oh, lush, but, things that, show that you are actually engaged with them. Comment on them. Send them a little DM when you see something on their stories that are lovely, and just say something, engaging to them, but not in a salesy way. And also have a look if their editor has their own personal Instagram, or whether, if it's a fashion publication, whether the some stylists have great Instagram accounts, or whether it's a feature writer, they might have their own Instagram. Do your research and follow them. Connect with them in a very nice and gentle way. For magazines, when we are back in offices and they have news desks, or feature writers have their, their in-person, pick up the phone and say hi and say, you've got a shoot coming on. Obviously, these are not ones that have clear guidelines for their submissions, because only do it the way they asked you to. But for magazines, pick up the phone and connect with people in person, because there's not many people that pick up the phone. And every time I've picked up the phone to a magazine, I've been featured in a magazine. So the 4th is to submit your work. when it comes to a blog that has specific guidelines, please don't just email them. Do it the way that they have asked you to do it. Now, that could be an email. It could be that there's a form. It could be that they have their own sort of platform that you upload things, but please do it the way that they've asked you to do it. And that might be specific guidelines around sizes or of images, numbers of words, whatever it is, just do it. It makes a really big difference, because if you don't, they just won't even look at it, and you could be not in a magazine just for something that is really, really small. And if they don't have guidelines, or you're not really sure, or it's a magazine but the desk is still closed, just find emails and drop them a line. Do a few low-res images, attach them to the email so that they don't have to go up and get onto drop blocks and do this and make it easy for them. A few sentences about your creative piece, why you're doing it, who are the top kind of contributors, and some photos. And then obviously, if it's a blog and they say we'll get back to you in 2 working weeks, follow up with them. If it's a magazine, or if it's something that is you're going to submit it by email, follow up with them. Not multiple times, and not before they told you that they will get back to you, in a very lovely, friendly kind of way. You know, we just wanted to check you got the submission. We'd love to be featured on whatever it is kind of way. And hopefully then you will get your dream publications. But don't be disheartened if you don't get them the first time round, because it could be that they have something coming on that they've already booked in that might be similar to yours. So if you get a no the first time, doesn't mean you'll get a no the second time. So you do have to persevere, okay? And the 5th and final tip that I have for you is my rinse and repeat. So I will talk about this a lot. I talk about it a lot on my Facebook group. I talk about it a lot in my How to Create a Cult Bridal Brand, my one-to-one program, which is that marketing needs to be in a layered way. So if your top blog is in a wedding blog and it's a big UK one and you get published there, please do respect the exclusivity period, because a lot of them will ask you to not have it anywhere else during a certain period of time so that they get the exclusivity. And please do keep to that, because you don't want to ruin a relationship like that. But after that's done, here comes your layering. So I would also do, if you've done a bridal one, can you do a fashion one? Is there a fashion Instagram account that maybe doesn't have its own sort of website or magazine, but might still have a big following that would really work for you? Touch base with them and do the same thing again with them. Do the same thing again with a print magazine. Do the same thing again with a local magazine. A local magazine that might be, you know, you might not think is going to have the same readership or the same impact. It doesn't matter. It's all of this layering and building that really create your brand and allow people who follow you on Instagram and then maybe see the local magazine and they think, oh my God, they're really close to me. This is amazing. It just really, really allows people to get to know more about you and your brand and to build the trust with you. So those are my 5 tips to how to get published. And if this is something that you are interested in, then please do follow along on the rest of the website. And book a discovery call with me. We can talk about how we can work together on your project. Or you can, of course, join my Facebook group, which is called Boss Your Bridal Brand, and just have a look and see whether some one-to-one work might be good for you, whether you'd like to book a power-up call, or maybe, as I say, you want to join the Facebook group. I would be delighted to see you in whichever way. So have a fabulous day. And thank you so much for popping along. Bye.